and regulating our fees. Our fees have not been raised in over 40 years.
Asking for a $25 increase of all of their licenses. Their fees haven't been adjusted since
1996.
1996.
I think I sent an email, I'm hoping you guys got it, the conditions of our Louisiana State Building Board. It's the roofs are leaking, we have wiring taped to the floor. We are in such low finance when it comes to restructuring our building, paying for the upgrades, the electrical system, our software, our insurance, as you know, has all went up. I don't want to go there, but it has. And they just can't afford what's moving forward. And I think to allow our young people that are paying $35,000 to $40,000 tuition to go to school to be a cosmetologist, and they're testing in this kind of building and under these circumstances.
We have green cards from Aaron Grace with the Paul Mitchell Schools, present now wishing to speak. Ryan Haney with the Aveda of Hammond.
Morning.
And introduce yourself. And
my name is Reverend Freddie Phillips. I'm here in opposition, and I appeared before this board, chair lady, before you 7 years ago concerning cosmetology and braiding. The bill that they are presenting, excuse me, is an astronomical increase on the profession and the professionals who are practicing. But when I was in the other committee, they shared no information as to an itemized breakdown of the cost of the repairs and things of that magnitude. I just heard the personnel said that the dilapidated building, they have no finances, but in their budget they have $1.5 million. Also in the prior meeting, I also heard that their repairs were costing anywhere from $250 to $300. And we're giving them a clean check for a 100% increase when there's a bill that is by Representative Moore that's going to allow the braiders to come in at $25 the first year, and subsequent the next year $50, which would bring a substantial increase into the finances to bring about the cost of repair. But what they're asking to do now is, and if you'll go back and look into the details of the information that just stated and maybe have questions in asking in those things, I don't think that's fair to the general public or to the practitioners who are trying to get into this entry level of profession, that they're having to bear such a high burden. Yes, they said 40 years, but at the end of the day, when you start talking money and inflation, and maybe $25 is not a lot to some people, but some people it may be more than they can afford. But I think there were options that were not explored in trying to rectify the problem of correcting the facility, the software, and things of that magnitude that could have been employed if, you know, the brains had come together, the meeting of the minds. But just to give them a blank check and give them 100%, I don't think that's fair to the profession or to the professionals.
Well, I have no questions, and I appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts with us. If you're okay, we're going to go to the next card.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming today. Robert Burns, also wishing to speak. Good morning, Mr. Burns.
Good morning.
If you'd
And
introduce
as you
yourself.
mentioned, my name is Robert Burns. I founded the blog Sound Off Louisiana. It's a video-based blog, and I will certainly cover this hearing. Over the last 8 years, I have videotaped the vast majority of meetings of the Cosmetology Board. And I want to also state that I'm a former bank examiner. I am an inactive CPA with the Board of CPAs certificate number 19967. I have been a CPA for 35 years, and the numbers I'm about to give you come directly off the legislative auditor's website. Okay, as Reverend Phillips just mentioned, they have a cash balance of $1.6 million. Mr. Young has been videotaped by me saying that the estimated cost of these, in his estimation, are between $250,000 and $300,000.
Are those funds dedicated to a particular area?
They were
Or not?
we
Just
have
the general budget?
The general budget of this agency.
And what, I'm gonna ask y'all, what do you all see yourself doing to increase your technology? What portion of that budget?
That would be a major portion of the new money. It would cost probably somewhere around $250,000 $50,000 to $300,000 to put in a website, to change all of our terribly old equipment in there, and to update the closed system, which is what we use to keep all of our information on.
The fiscal note, if you look at this bill, would generate $946,000 a year. Even using the upper end of his range of $300,000 divided by $944,000 does not constitute the vast majority. Furthermore, that's just for 1 year. Going out 5 years, this fiscal note is estimated to bring in close to $5 million. The $300,000 outlay that is referenced, and I've been told that's high, but we'll take his number. I have him on video giving those. He gave a range between 250 and 300. That would be 300 divided by 5 million. Last time I checked, that's 6%. So I would challenge the notion that the quote, vast majority, that's his quote, not mine, of the new money would be utilized for this purpose. The reality is the check could be written tomorrow to cover this. They have $1.6 million sitting in their bank account. Furthermore, the contention about insurance, that is not an insurance program. That is a program developed by the Attorney General's office. I covered it in its entirety with the Veterinarian Board. Only about 12 boards have joined. They don't even want it called an insurance program.
It is a layer of protection.
That's right.
And I understand that, but it's not an insurance policy.
No, it's not an insurance policy, no.
The reality is even that $122,000, which this board has said they need to do in increments because the sky is falling and we're broke, which I severely challenge. And I believe with my credentials, I would love for them to bring a CPA up here who would counter what I'm saying, because every bit of this is taken from the legislative auditor's website. The accounting firm that did their audit is out of Covington, and they actually brag on the financial performance of this commission, of this board. Even if you took the most pessimistic aspect that are within those financial statements, and I have reviewed them thoroughly, even if you looked at the most, what would normally think would be the most problematic area, the accrued liability for pension, even that has dropped by $660,000 over the last 4 years. This board is making remarkable progress. They are having stellar financial results, and indications to the contrary are simply not accurate. Now, I realize Representative Butler has said it's been 41 years since there was a fee increase. All I know is I have Mr. Young on video saying the last fee increase was in 1996.
Asking for a $25 increase of all of their licenses. Their fees haven't been adjusted since
1996.
1996.
When I do that math, that's not 41 years. I know that that's still a while, but I don't believe there's any justification whatsoever for this fee increase, and I believe I have the credentials to say that, having looked through these financials, especially when it's so frustrating to me that I've not heard the first number thrown out, either in the House Commerce Committee. I didn't hear it on the House floor. I'm throwing out numbers because apparently the emotional pleadings that have come forth so far have been taken hook, line, and sinker. So I wanted to provide an opportunity to state those facts. Anybody's welcome to question me. I have been videotaping this board for 8 years, just like Reverend Phillips was here 70 years ago before you, Senator Mizell, so was I. And I want to make that point. This board has spent $157,000. And that's within $1,000 one way or the other, because I made public records requests to get all of the legal invoices on this rating litigation. $157,000. Okay? That's an enormous amount of money. And now, from what I'm being told, it's being said that at this last meeting, which unfortunately I missed, well, we never should have been in the business of regulating braiding in the first place. So after spending $157,000, you're now going to fold the tent. That $157,000 would have covered the vast majority of this needed computer rerouting and wiring. So I'm not going to infringe on y'all's time. I could spend an enormous amount of time talking about what all this board has done with funds that's been entrusted in the past. To include, I'll cover just one briefly. Former U.S. Congressman Joseph Gow You know, and the Vietnamese manicurists go in on a Saturday morning, do a Saturday morning inspection, order that, first of all, the customers and everybody are told, freeze, don't move. This is all backed up in federal litigation. I could give it to you. Judge Brian Jackson, a federal judge, said this was unquestioned false imprisonment. Placing the owners of this inside of a office while they rummaged through drawers, fortunately, she's gone now. But I do not believe this is warranted. I don't believe the oppressive nature of this board against free enterprise initiatives warrants it. And I see you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want, before I hand it off to the members, I just want to ask, is this the only board you watch this closely, or are you
No, ma'am.
watching you watch all the boards?
I don't watch them all, but I watch the State Police Commission far more than this one. Ask anyone to deal with state police who Robert Burns is, they're gonna know. And you know, apparently I'm hearing some, but no, the State Police Commission and this one are ones that I have been. And here's the deal: I go where leads take me. I don't just fall out of bed and go show up in a board. I got so many complaints about this board that I said, okay, I'll be there. And I've been there ever since. And I could enumerate numerous complaints that come to me. They don't have to come and appear before you because fear. I'm being blunt about it, fear.
We've got two members with questions. I'm not sure if they're for you or do you have a question? Okay.
Oh, Reverend Phillips?
Thank you, Mr. Burns. We're going to move to the rep now.
To the referendum? Oh, okay.
To the rep.
Oh, to the rep.
Representative.
Oh, I said Reverend, I'm sorry.
No. I think we're finished with any questions. We have no questions for you.
Oh, so you are
if
done with me?
Right,
All
right. So, Rep. Butler, I think we have a question from Senator Connick.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Burns, it's compelling testimony.
Pardon me?
It's compelling testimony.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And I really wasn't focusing on this bill until you showed up. So, I'm looking at the fiscal note. This is going to generate $1 million a year, it shows, in 5 years to be $5.1 million. You have $1.6 million in the bank. Is that correct testimony?
Senator Connick, this is this board, like many of the licensing boards, is 100% self-generated.
I understand that.
So that their money comes in, licenses are renewed on the birthday of the individual, so the money comes in staggered. This is to support payroll. They have, for the past number of years, unable to get a fee increase, just had a standstill budget. So that the board owns the building, which is really falling apart, needs a roof, needs flooring, needs electrical to be updated. Their computer system, they have not purchased the upgrades to the licensing and support for many, many years. So they're running on something that's totally outdated. They cannot, with their current system, comply with the recent governor's order on accessibility to websites. Their website cannot handle online payments. They have conserved their funds because they have to have enough money in the bank to make payroll. They've been through many disasters, such as Hurricane Katrina, other hurricanes around the state where licensees are totally shut down and the revenues are flowed. So they do carry a fund balance, but it's less than their operational costs for the year.
Right. My question is, do you have $1.6 million as a fund balance right now?
I believe that it's close to that, yes.
Okay. How much money do you need to do the upgrades of your computer system?
That's something that's going to have to be bid because it's going to be over $100,000. The database is just very, very old. It's on a system.
So you don't know what the bids are?
It's over $100,000. Many of the licensing database companies will not even, they won't even sell the database software for less than $100,000, so it'll have to go under procurement laws to be.
Okay, but I need to know what those costs are. What's that cost will be?
We haven't done the procurement because we didn't have the money to purchase it, but
Okay.
well over $100,000.
What about repairs to the building? What would that cost?
That's another thing that has to go through public bid, so it's roofing, flooring,
Wiring.
But shouldn't you get these estimates before you come ask for a rate increase?
we could certainly get more information, but we have to go use the state public bid law because it's.
I understand. I just need to know a number because we people are getting hit with high insurance rates and high everything, and you need some money. You got $1.6 million in the bank. You got more money that's going to be coming in from your people. How much money do you need, and can that money be drawn from this $1.6 million? I think is a fair question. Can you answer that?
The 1.6 million is less than the operating budget for the year. So every year that general fund balance is decreasing, and they are maintaining an old system, an old building with no improvements. The only money that they've put into repairs of the building are for emergency if the air condition went out or something of that nature. There's been no maintenance on the building.
So once you get the building repaired and once you get the computer system up and running, will you need excess money?
Well, to belong to the Attorney General's Occupational Licensing Review Commission is $3 per licensee this year. So out of the $25 that's collected, $3 of it goes to the Attorney General's office, and that's a variable cost. We do not know if that cost is going to increase, but whatever it is, the board has to absorb that. And then there are the lawsuits that have been filed against this board have not been defended by the state because they didn't qualify as damage suits under the insurance coverage, so they have had to defend a number of suits.
Okay. I think what I'm hearing is you need some capital costs for improvements. But could this bill give you this increase for a period of 2 years to get this money that you need to upgrade your systems?
So that we have
And sunset it?
an inadequate number of inspectors for the facilities. Their wages have increased, their state retirement has increased, their health insurance has increased. So a lot of it is due to labor costs as well. So we really need more inspectors than we have, but there is no funding to increase the number of inspectors.
All right, but what about you've been sued by the hair braiders? You have been sued by the hair braiders and lost?
The Institute for Justice sued the board. We won the suit, they lost the suit.
They lost, all right.
And it was tried in 19th Judicial District Court. It went to the First Circuit Court of Appeal, was argued there, and then it was briefed to the Louisiana Supreme Court, which recently denied writs.
Yeah. Do you know how much money you need specifically to do the things you want to do?
The board approved a $25 increase, which was less than the inflation calculator. If it was $25 when implemented, that fee would be closer to 80.
I understand, but that's, the medical malpractice lawsuit, started in 1975. That hasn't been increased. That was at $500,000. So I just need to know, using a CPI to justify your reasons, I don't think is good. Right. I need to know what costs you need to pay, how much money you need to operate efficiently with good people.
The board determined $25. There are a lot of things that need to be upgraded in terms of the testing center. They have not been able to implement anything with more modern technology, with to be more interactive with the licensees and with the public.
What would that cost? And you can't base it because of CPI. Give us. I'm trying to get you your money that you need without harming the people who are going to pay you. They need to be represented too. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Senator Connick. Senator Bowie for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also would need additional information regarding the need for the increase. Presently, what's the, and I heard you say, and Rep. Butler, either you or one of your guests could provide this information, that the funds are self-generating.
Yes,
for the
sir.
board.
We don't receive any state general funds or taxes.
What's the annual revenue versus the annual liabilities?
Do not, let's do for just the.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
My name is Steve Young. I'm director of the Cosmetology Board. The current projected for the year is 1.75, and that the expenses for the last year, we were right at $50,000, $60,000. What has happened here is that what we are asking in that each day we collect some money because our $25 comes in on a person's birthday. Therefore, the $1.5 million that you see that we have in the bank, that is the total budget for the year. It stays in there each day because we collect money each day through $25 fees on birthdays, and at the first of the year, we collect a little bit more. But in 2 years, we will not have enough money to operate. We have an additional $120,000 a year in insurance. We have never made improvements. It would cost at least $125,000 to get the place fixed up to standard. And what we're doing is asking for $25 that the government does not have to pay for, that would last about 5 or 6 years. See, so we don't have to come back and ask you next year or the year after for another raise. It's not much money, because when you consider that we haven't had a raise in that many years and what the inflation rate is, we will be out of business, or at least down to just a very few employees year after next if we do not get the raise. And we do need the $25, sir, because we don't want to have to come back and ask you in 2 or 3 years. So the money that you see, this $1.5 million, that is our total budget, period. It's not some money that we have stored in the bank to go get if we need it. That's our total money. And each year it's less and less, and next year it's going to be around 1.3 million, and the year after that it's going to be down to 1 million, and the year after that we're done for.
Wait, I'm a little confused.
Yes.
And so I need you to clarify. You initially said you quoted a figure of 1.75, and then you said 1.5. My question was, how much do you generate annually? Is that the 175 you mentioned?
Yes, sir. It's about $1.7 million.
Okay.
Because we never really.
Wait. Let me so I can follow you. So you generate 1.7 mil. How much do you spend that year?
That's what we're going to spend.
You spend 1.7 million.
Yeah, we're going to spend that much, yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, it's not anything that we, as the fella said who was up here, that comes.
You're going to spend 1.7 million.
Yep.
What's your, give me an example of the expenditures where you're spending 1.7 million.
All right, just to say, in 2024, I'll give you descriptions. Regular salaries were $1,049,000, $55,000 in additional overtime hours. The subtotal for salaries was $1.19 million. The employees' contributions were $355,000. Unemployment benefits $20,000 for a total of $195,000. For a total budgeted last year for salaries only is $1.689, and so.
I heard you mention overtime. Who regulates the expenditures of the board? I know you're self-generating funds.
Well, those all of the board employees are under civil service, so it's whatever the civil service chart is.
But who regulates the spending of the board?
The board regulates the spending of the
board does?
Yes.
And my only concern is congruent to Senator Connick's, in that, you know, we have so many things happening to constituents relative to cost.
Yes, sir.
And I know for cosmetologists, the expenditures they have, and the cost of the services I know are rising for them.
That's
And
correct.
so we're concerned, obviously, about
And we are
an
too.
increase. And so I guess my concern also is along with Senator Connick, in terms of, because I know we are heavy on trying to be very efficient with what we do and how much monies are generated by public entities and quasi-public entities. I'm just concerned about it, especially from the new information I heard in terms of the 100% increase. And you're really planning to provide some additional funds for future years without, by your own testimony, being aware of exactly what those would be. You just want to save time to keep from coming to us to ask for another increase.
Time you get an increase in fees.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just getting on the record my concerns. But Madam Chair, that's all the questions I have. And thank you for your answers, sir. I appreciate
To
it.
say as well that we are not even comparative with the states around us. All the states around us charge $50 to $80 a year in their cosmetology license. So we're not even meeting the standards of other states that are around us. So they're seeing the same type of increases they're needed. And she has some numbers here that they actually are going in the hole because they collect fees on birthdays. So your fees come in, you may have 40 people come in the month of September or maybe 500 people that come in the month of October. So you can see how the money flows in and then it flows out. But they're actually in a negative. And it's hard for me to understand that we're self-generated fees. We're not asking for anything out of the state budget or taxes, but we cannot upgrade our cosmetology industry on what we do. I actually, when I wanted to do medical aesthetics, I had to go to Texas to get my license because we did not upgrade. We don't have any upgraded software, teaching, curriculums to teach that kind of thing here because it costs a lot of money to input all of that because you have to start with curriculum, you have to get teachers to teach that. And so every other license I wanted outside of my licensing had to be done in Texas. And I went there and I paid it and I got it and I came back with it. And I was able to make more money and add to my business that I wanted to do. I cannot get that here because we don't have the funds to invest. And in a business, you have to invest or you will fail at some point. And I feel like we're failing our students at some point. And I've been trying to do this since I got here in 2020. So and the first time I came, I just wanted $5 and I couldn't get that. So now we're 6 years down the line, and we just keep going downhill from there. But it is what you want, and, with the members, whatever you want to do, but I want to let you know that we are not competitive with other states. We are far below.
Senator Alon has a question.
Yeah, this is for the board. Look, I understand for the procurement side of things, right? You're not at that stage, but regardless of what happens with the bill, maybe you could go just get a contractor just to give you a quote on the repairs and maybe just an outside quote for whatever happens here that, we may have a little better idea. I know it's not going to be exactly through the procurement process and get the different number of quotes you need, but that would be my suggestion.
And honestly, I would love to see the expense statement that you were reading the numbers off of. It would help us because we've had a back and forth with different amounts going pro and con, that would have been helpful.
Will it be the will of the committee to defer and we get you this information and come back? Is that the will of the committee?
It's not, that's going to be the best thing to do. Because Senator Connick for a question.
It seems to me y'all need some money for upgrades,
Right.
and y'all need a better building, better software, and we need to know what that cost is. What if we make this fee increase temporary? And then you can come back in 3 years, 2 years, and then see where we go from there.
I guess one of the ideas would be to have regular maintenance of the building and to have regular upgrades of the computer equipment. I mean, they're kind of in this place because they didn't want to exhaust all of their funds, so they don't budget for any maintenance or upgrades. And so it's been a long time. And so ideally, they would have enough money to handle things as they come.
It was just a suggestion.
Right.
I'm going to
And I think
plan
that's a good
anything.
suggestion, but they're kind of, in a place where they haven't been able to keep up.
I think we need more information, though.
One more point.
Yeah. I think, Representative, if over the, do you have something new?
Them from the audit and everything, if that's what they want.
Would
Is
you
that
like
like a
us to get you the
financial statement?
financial information from the audit?
Yeah.
And
I
come-
I think, in order to give it its due thought,
Okay,
we need to have those expenses in hand and a projected, because it's one thing to have money for regular upkeep, it's something else to go in and do a major fix. So if as Senator Connick said, you had it for 2 years, you could do your major fixes and then look at what you needed just for sustaining the software, whatever. That's going to be a different thing I think there's some heartburn on this right now. So could we,
yeah. Can we
Somebody-
voluntarily defer to come back next week
yeah,
with everything
that's
that
what
you
I was
need?
going to suggest. But in the meantime, it's not going to do you any good to come back next week if we don't know any more than we know right now.
Yeah,
So this young lady has been really anxious to come to the table. Do you want to speak if you know it's coming back next week, or are you? Yes. Okay. So, but, I mean, is that agreeable to the committee if we get the information, come back next week and give you another opportunity?
okay, great.
Okay,
Thank you.
without objection, we'll see you back next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the OLRP, the DOJ program, it's voluntary.